Black people are not oppressed. Stop playing the victim. Every day I get some form of this comment from white people on my anti-racism education videos. Look at your clothes, look at your nails, look at your house. Yeah, you look so oppressed. Someone even recently commented that he couldn't hear what I was saying in my video because the fountain water in our pool was too loud. Enter racist, passive-aggressive sarcasm here. If you feel slighted or envious that my husband and I are Black and we own a home with a pool, and you're white and you don't, and you feel like that's not fair, I have news for you. The same capitalist, white supremacist system that seeks to systemically and inequitably oppress, marginalize, and disenfranchise Black people is the same system that is keeping you from building the type of financial freedom that you desire for yourself and for your family. If you're not a wealthy white man, these systems are not set up to benefit you either. This is why it's important for all of us to come together to dismantle the system of white supremacy and systemic racism. Anti-racism is the key to unlocking your mind from the lies of white supremacy culture and the insidious nature of anti-Black racism. Start or continue your anti-racism education journey today at the link in my bio. No excuses.
So guys, guess what? If you're white and you don't have the pool in your backyard, and you don't have the nice house, then guess what? You may be a victim of white supremacy. You might be. So again, if you look in your backyard and you're a white ass that doesn't see a pool, then guess what? White supremacy.
Okay, and last time we talked about the number one race hustler in America who makes money telling Americans that we're racist. He was boohoo, whining, and crying about Vivek Ramaswamy calling him the modern day KKK.
Your reaction to what you heard him saying there, comparing you and Congresswoman Presley to the modern grand wizards of the KKK.
I just think it's incredibly dangerous. The Ku Klux Klan is the oldest and quite possibly most violent white terrorist group, really terrorist, domestic terrorist group in American history. They have engaged in generations of violence against Black people, against Jews, against all sorts of groups they don't agree with. And they've also expressed ideas of racial hierarchy and white supremacy, ideas that I and Congresswoman Presley have repeatedly and constantly challenged. So it's incredibly dangerous, especially in this moment where, all sorts of reports point to white supremacists as the greatest domestic terrorist threat of our time, to be comparing people to them that have spent their lives challenging them, and actually who the Klan hates, because the Klan really doesn't like me.
Look, yesterday on CNN State of the Union, Ramaswamy was pressed about this and pressed about the violence of the KKK and how that could possibly compare to anything that you or Congresswoman Presley have said. But he said that he wanted to provoke a, quote, honest discussion in this country. So just help us here. I mean, what would an honest discussion on race in this country in this moment actually look like?
Well, I think we would start with racial disparities and inequities. We would identify the evidence that points to, for instance, let's say Black people are more likely to be impoverished or incarcerated or killed by police or dying of heart disease and cancer.
If you want to have a discussion, an open, honest discussion about racism, then we're going to have to talk about things that you don't want to talk about. We got to be honest about that. And again, you can say there's disparities between white and Black, and there is. But again, just because there's disparities does not mean there's discrimination. We truly have to be honest about that. Again, right now in this country, the number one top group as far as income, as far as education, I believe is Indian. And then under that is Asian. And then under that is white. So we truly have got to be honest about that. But again, that kind of stuff, you don't want to talk about that because, again, it doesn't fit your narrative. But again, that's something that we would have to be asked about. Something else we would have to be asked about is the fact that, the culture that again, single motherhood, again, they tend to produce criminals. Single mothers tend to produce criminals. They do. And I'm not saying all of them are. But again, they tend to overwhelmingly produce, again, kids that wind up in prison. So again, white or black. So again, we truly have to be honest about that. So if you have a large percentage of black women with kids that are single mothers, they're going to produce, they're going to produce criminals. That's what they're going to produce. Again, we have truly got to be honest about that. I mean, I put up a video earlier showing about a 2-year-old black girl who was playing with about a 4-year-old white girl. And the white girl came and took something away from her. Well, the mother of the black girl about lost her damn mind. She was calling the white girl a Karen and telling her 2-year-old to push stuff over and throw a fit. Again, we have truly got to be honest. That is not going to do a thing except fan the flames of racial division. And again, as you're ruining your own daughter. You're ruining your own child. Because again, you're indoctrinating your child with hate. That is what you're doing. But again, we don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff we don't want to talk about. So again, it's not going to get better until people are willing to be honest about what the issue is, what the problems are. Again, it's not going to get better. And that's why it hasn't, again, if we could say, oh, white supremacy is a problem, it's because you don't have rights, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you can't. If that was the issue, it would be fixed. But that's not. That's not where the problem is. And we truly have yet to be asked about that. Again, the problems with themselves, with yourself. Again, and it does not matter if you're white, black, whatever. Again, the problem lies with you. If you're not where you want to be, it's because of you. All right, guys, this is from the Daily Free Press. I'm going to read part of this to you. Okay, Boston University hired Ibram X. Kendi to lead its new Center for Anti-Racist Research in 2020, a year marked by the global pandemic and nationwide racial tensions. 3 years later, after at least $43 million in grants and gifts, and what sources say have been an underwhelming output of research, the Center for Anti-Racist Research laid off almost all of its staff last week. Multiple former staff members allege that a mismanagement of funds, high turnover rate, and a general disorganization have plagued the center since its inception. The $43 million, according to 2021 budget records obtained by the Daily Free Press, includes general support such as the $10 million from Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, as well as donations for specific projects. All right, Kendi, National Book Award-winning author of How to Be an Anti-Racist with Andrew W. Mellon, professor in the humanities and professor at Boston University, founded the center 3 years ago. After he founded the Anti-Racist Research and Policy Center at American University. So guys, man, we got to be honest. Just like Black Lives Matter, again, it's a fraud. It's all a fraud. It's not real. But again, we truly get to understand that the race grifting thing, it's not real. That's what they do. They want you to believe that black people are oppressed or brown people are oppressed. But again, what they do is they make their money off getting people to believe that, off getting people to buy their books, subscribe to their stuff. That's what they do. But again, it's not real. We truly get to understand we have full equality under the law, which is, again, all you can ever have. And again, majority of white people, they will bend over backwards to show black people that they aren't racist, and they will bend over backwards. They will allow you to pretty much walk all over them, do whatever you want. I mean, we truly get to understand that. Again, it's all about the money. Again, people like Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, people like Kendi. Again, I think his real name is Henry Rogers, I believe it was. But again, he had to change his name to make it sound more black because, again, it wasn't black enough. He had to, people don't buy books on anti-racist stuff from Henry Rogers, and they buy from, something, Ibram X Kendi or whatever his new name is. But we truly have got to recognize, guys, that this stuff, same thing with Black Lives Matter, man, it's exposed as fraud. Again, they're not doing a thing. They truly are. And again, they're squandering money. There's no accounting for their money. And again, we truly have got to understand it's going in the pockets of someone. But again, it's not used to help anyone, not really. And, the whole thing is fraud. All these rogue companies that get involved with this stuff, and we truly got to understand, guys, it's not real. It's not real. But anyways, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a